All right, guys, welcome back. And tonight, I'm finally getting around to being able to actually do some stuff that I want to do a little experimentation, and try to find out some new mediums for doing some stuff in preparation for Christmas. And one of the things that I've been trying to master and trying to figure out my approach on for over a year now, and I'm terrible at it doing the painted canvases and stuff like that, but that is just a canvas. I like the idea of being able to do one of these canvases, and whether I frame it or whether I just use one of my little plate stands to put it in, I think that this would be something cool. It's a really cheap medium. I picked these up at Walmart. These are just standard studio canvases, 8x10. So they'll fit, 8x10 picture frames, they'll fit in those. Or you can put them on a plate stand them up on a table, use them as a decorative piece, whatever. I've done some doing the spray paint method where you paint it and try to do the layers and stuff like that. It's a little complicated. The settings is really finicky with that. But I got to thinking, I wonder if I could do these like I do wood and just engrave them directly on them without any kind of prep, and what kind of image I could come up with doing that. So I decided tonight that's what I was going to try to figure out. So I've got one of these canvases burning behind me right now. I'm going to be using the Ortur, just because after what I saw last night on my image test on the wood, I'm thinking that I might try to do that same image but just bigger on one of these and see how it turns out. So I'm doing a 20x20 grid test right now, ranging power from 10% all the way up to 100, and speeds from like 10 all the way up to 300, just to try to get a good differential shade test grid done. And once I do that, I'm going to try to load a file, and I'm going to try to burn and see what kind of results I can get out of it. See if it looks like something you would want sitting on your table, or see if I'm just going to ruin another canvas. So stick around, that's what we're going to be doing tonight. All right, the test grid that I was running, I decided not to let it run all the way through. I got up the speed high enough that it was not having the desired effect that I wanted anymore, and so I went ahead and cut that short. And the reason I did that is because I want to be able to use the remaining part of this canvas just as kind of a trial before I go to try to do the big image. Two reasons: one, to keep from wasting so many canvases, and two, I'm going to do smaller burns on this before I do the big one and have to wait for 2 hours to find out that the image is terrible. So that way I can use this one to do my test images and go from there. So I'm going to show you what I came up with and what the image looks like. I did take it over and I hit it with the air hose to try to knock any loose material off of it. I haven't wiped it with anything or anything like that. I just wanted to be able to see, because with canvas I have learned that there's a thin line between making a canvas black and making a canvas fall apart. And so you've got to get just to that right power threshold to be able to make it black but stay intact. A little bit of discoloration or whatever I'm not too concerned with, because I do plan on spraying this with some clear coat once I get the image burned, just to preserve it and to keep the darks dark and keep anything from flying off of it. But I don't want holes in the canvas, and I don't want it to be pitted. So this is the results of my little power test I did, guys. You can see this is the 100% range down here. This is going to be 10 millimeters per second on the speed, and then I've got 10% on the far left, and then 100% power on the far right. And as you can see, once you get past about 30%, it starts damaging the material. So that is going to be, I'm going to go with, let me see if I can show you here. I'm going to go with this being my dark right here. I think that's about where the dark needs to be, and it carries over. If you look, that color goes up to here. But once I get the speed up above around 50, I start losing that darkness. So the fastest speed is what I want, because I don't want this thing to take a week to complete. So I want to try to go up as high as I can and I'm gonna come over, and that's pretty dark. The only thing that I didn't do on the speed test is I didn't change the LPI, which I will be doing. So I'm gonna go with this speed because I think once I add the LPI that I want on there, I think that is gonna darken that up a little bit even more. So I'm gonna go do a quick test burn using that power setting, which is gonna be 55 speed at 100% output, and change the LPI. And I'm gonna do that same burn we did last night on the wood, see how it goes. All right, guys, I had to run out in the middle of creating that video, but I'm back now and fixing to try to finish this up. As you can see, the results pretty well. What I'm gonna do is, to get the full effect, I also want to try to put some text on this so that I can see how dark the text is going to be, as well as the image, because the design that I have in mind is going to require both like text, shapes, as well as a photo. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a couple of designs on there, run a little test burn on those, and see how dark I can get those and go from there. But for my designs, like I said, I will be running the 55 speed and 100% output to try to get the darkest shade possible. So here we go. Let me lay this up here and get it started. All right, guys, I was really hoping to complete my project that I was wanting to do on this canvas, but unfortunately last night my job got in the way. I got called back into work and didn't get to finish it last night. And then tonight we had a couple of meetings that ran late, and so I haven't been home too long, and I did a little bit more testing with the fonts and stuff, and I've got all of my settings that I need for the burn. The only thing now is to wait until I have time for the 3.5 hour burn. I went ahead and set the burn up and got the image the way I wanted it and got everything framed, and I decided to preview before I hit go. And unfortunately this burn is going to take about 3 hours. So not going to do that tonight because I've got to get some rest. I got to get up early in the morning, get ready to go to May's open house. And so that's just going to have to wait for another day. But what I will do for you guys, I got the little reindeer design that I was doing. I got it finished. And that's what that turned out looking like. And this is an unpainted, unfinished, straight out of the package canvas, guys. So if you want to do designs on canvas, you can do those and not necessarily have to paint it or spray it or anything like that. I think it looks pretty cool. Now, if you go too hot, you will start to see the fibers in the design if you don't spray it with some kind of adhesive or something before you hit it with an air hose. I went ahead and hit this with the air hose just to make sure my power setting wasn't hard enough to cut into the canvas. And when I hit it with the air hose, you can barely see the fibers in the canvas, the kind of the grid pattern that's in the canvas. But what I did is after I hit it with the air hose, I took some just polyacrylic, which is acrylic paint, but it's kind of polyurethane, but it's acrylic. So just took a little polyacrylic and sprayed it just to kind of contain any of the browning or anything like that, and kind of sturdy it up and give it a little bit of shine. So I'm going to show you what the two images look like there. That's the little Christmas design I did. I'm going to try to get it tight enough to where you can see where it's barely, you can barely see the fibers of the canvas, but it made it nice and dark, and so I like that. And I also went back and sprayed some polyacrylic on the image that I did just to see what the finished effect would look like. Of course, on my finished product, I plan to turn the DPI up just a little more on this, but the settings that I ran for the engrave were actually pretty good. I probably could have stood to came on up to, let's say, 60 speed at 100 millimeters per second at 100% output, but I kind of like the little bit of discoloration in the background of the image. It kind of makes it look a little more not printed, as opposed to it just looking like something that was printed on here. You can tell that it was actually engraved. So I kind of like that, so that you can kind of tell. Nothing came through the back, so I didn't go too crazy with the power settings. But that's going to conclude tonight, guys. I'm going to have to wait and do the grand finale part that I was wanting to do. I'm going to have to wait and do that another day. Probably another weekend, because this weekend's I'm going to be busy. and probably not going to be back in the shop for a couple of days because I'm going to be at May's event, and then Sunday, I don't know what I'll be doing, but we'll figure that out. But there you go, guys. There's your settings. Like I said, this is running a 10 watt, and I was more particularly running the Ortur Laser Master 3 10 watt. And the power settings up here, 55 millimeters per second at 100% output. Same thing here. This is a little darker because when you're doing a image, you know, the power, it goes up and down, up all the way across. This is more of a continuous power flow. So this one's a little darker, got a little deeper, but for text and stuff like that, I think that'll look good. The plan that I have is to do a picture, but to be able to do some type of text, design, poem, or whatever on the same canvas, just kind of overburn the image. And so that's what I want. I wanted it to be darker and look different than the image. So I think those are pretty good results on an unfinished canvas. And just so the ones of you that'll be like, oh, I didn't get the name of those. That's where I got them at Walmart, guys. They're cheap. And they're so cheap that I think I'm going to probably, next time I go in there, I'm going to buy me a few more of these because I've got ideas for Christmas decorations, Easter, all of that. You know, take this and you can put it in a picture frame. You can put it on a plate stand. You could just do whatever with these canvases. You could put magnets on the back, stick them to a refrigerator. I mean, you could use command strips, stick them to the wall, whatever you wanted to do with these. These could be used from everything from, you know, Wi-Fi, password, barcodes, that type of stuff. I mean, just anything, signs. So I will be probably picking me up some more of those and stocking up and coming up with different ideas of what I can make with these to sell for the holidays, especially with Christmas coming around, because I feel like, you know, maybe a manger scene or, you know, something like that would go well. Just some Christmas decorations, maybe a Christmas tree and some decorative stuff on the back. So if you come up with any good designs, guys, if you do some of these and they turn out really well, especially, send me a message, you know, tag me on Facebook, whatever. Share some pictures of your work product, because I really enjoy it, guys, when some of my ideas, when I see other people using my ideas and making things or making money to support your tool addiction. So anyway, that's one thing that I did tonight. But before I go, guys, I had a customer that wanted a certain keychain, and she'd sent me a picture that I guess she found off Etsy or somewhere and said, hey, can you make this? And so let me show you what I wound up creating tonight. So this is not exactly the way the picture was that she sent me, but this is what I ended up coming up with. All right, so she sent me the picture, and it was basically two puzzle pieces, and it had a little heart that was a line burned into it, and it had the names and stuff like that. I wasn't crazy about the line because it kind of conflicted with the lines of the puzzle piece, and I thought that it just didn't stand out enough. So I changed on my design. I changed into using a heart, in which when you take the puzzle pieces apart, it's like a piece of the heart is missing until you put them back together. So I just thought that was kind of cool, and I sent her a picture of my prototype here, and it looks like I've got some of those for sale, and I will probably be adding this to my keychain collection and go ahead and make them like this. And then on the back, I can go ahead, you know, at the events or whatnot, if there's a name that needs to be, you know, like, you know, whatever, Steve and Amy or whatever, I can put that on the back and have these already pretty much ready to go. That way it doesn't take me as long to prepare them. Now, one thing that I did do, though, is I made my puzzle piece symmetrical. So technically it will fit, any two of these little pieces will fit together. So, you know, but that's not how a puzzle works, guys. You got to match the pictures up. But there you are. There it is. And that is a piece of mahogany that I had left over from making some turkey calls for a fella, or cutting out the pieces for turkey calls that I was helping a guy with. So there you go, mahogany keychains. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Give me a like, thumbs up, share, comment, good, bad, or indifferent. I hope you like the videos. Hope they're entertaining, helpful, or maybe they just help give you some ideas on what you can use to do with your laser and maybe make some money and stuff. So thanks for stopping by, guys. And as always, have a good night.